Halo Wars 2's new DLC has Awakening the Nightmare in my pants. Finally, legit Flood cutscenes, lots of new Halo lore, and of course, the return of the infamous Halo Flood. This DLC has untold amounts of implications for the next big Halo game, like the advantages of the Flood, where Halo 6 will take place, to the Gravemind returning. So let's talk about what all of this means for Halo 6. My name is Chris, let's get into it. Before we get started, let me just say thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for your comments, your likes, and your general support here on Halo Follower. I really don't say thank you guys enough, so here I am saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys are living life to the fullest and taking care of yourselves and everything is good in your life. I really do appreciate y'all's time, by the way. I read a lot of your comments, but obviously I don't have the time to read them all, let alone reply to them all. But this video, I am pretty excited to discuss what we're going to talk about today, so I'm hoping we reach about 3,000 likes because I totally think we can do it and I think this one is worthy of it. So let's get into it. Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare DLC has huge implications for Halo 6. Let me explain. So, in this story, Pavium and his unwise brother Vortius unwittingly released the enclosed parasite within the crash site of High Charity on the Ark. What could go wrong, brother? Fucking everything, Vortius. Everything could go wrong. There's nothing quite like the campaign in this DLC to illustrate how the Flood are back, but with a vengeance. And even the worthy Banish would fall under the might of the Flood and Gravemind. Maybe even Atriox knows better than any how the Flood are a threat to the Banished, but even his own mortal flesh. He looks off to the distance, observing the Flood, soon to be Blightland, wondering how he will defeat this enemy. Perhaps. In this scene, Atriox tells Pavium and Vortius to secure the breach. What he means by this is presumably the remaining Flood on the Ark, but also the blasted hole in High Charity, which doesn't seem like it would be a very hard thing to fix, because it's such a small hole. That's what she said. But quite honestly, I don't see the point. The Flood have been released, they have been uncontained upon the Ark. And it's kind of game over without an extensive plan or some help of foreigner trickery and tools, but maybe Atriox already knows this. So the Gravemind will probably return in Halo 6, and we have more than good reason to see why this will happen. At the end of the campaign in Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare, we discover that the Flood are giving birth to a new leader, a proto-gravemind, if you will, an incomplete but growing reemergence of the Flood's master form, the Gravemind, which is basically what we saw in Halo 2. Before the Flood DLC released, we had only suspected a new Gravemind was being created somewhere, but as the Phoenix Logs in Halo Wars 2 menu says, the Gravemind was destroyed by Master Chief firing the incomplete Arc in Halo 3, but it is only a matter of time before the Gravemind rises once again. Besides, I'd imagine that inside High Charity would be a much more safer and ideal place for a new proto-Gravemind to already start taking form after Vortius and Pavium destroyed the one at the end of the campaign DLC. So what do you guys think about the Flood Master returning? What do you think about the Gravemind being a big enemy in Halo 6? Let me know down in the comments below. Perhaps he may be a big ally too. So if the logic plague has infected Cortana's mind in Halo 5, which I've made many videos talking about why it has and why this is most likely the case, there's so much reason to believe so, and the previous Gravemind had successfully implemented devious ideas within her, which happened during the time after Halo 2 by the way, then we may see a very interesting interaction or spiral of events happening in Halo 6 between Cortana and the new form of the Gravemind in Halo 6. And when I say new form, basically it would be the same Gravemind since each Gravemind takes the form and the memories of the one before it. So basically they're all technically the same thing, but whatever. Perhaps at first Cortana realizes that the Flood have survived after already disarming the galaxy only to face the Gravemind, then be turned over or be weakened by the logic plague and do the Flood's bidding even. Unwittingly, Cortana has already done the Flood's bidding by disarming Earth with an EMP and convincing the Ongoi to work with her, and perhaps the many other species that have already joined her and gave up a life of war for peace and basically no defense for something like the Flood to return. Or perhaps the Flood will assist Master Chief to stop Cortana from firing the Halo rings, and then we may see a betrayal once again, although that would be sort of cliche, I think, if that whole thing was to happen again. So what do you guys think Cortana Cortana will do when she sees the flood. Let me know down in the comments below. So many different possibilities here. Halo 6's campaign will be more or less focused on the Ark as the focal part of the campaign. I say this for a few reasons, but mainly because the Ark is one, if not the most important location in the entire Halo lore and universe. This is where countless Halo stories are taking place and have taken place, and now the center stage for the Spirit of Fire, the Floods Returned, the Banished, a Halo ring taken by Anders, and of course, considering Cortana now has access to the Foreigner domain, the Ark is now more than likely the place to stop the forces of evil in Halo 6 from destroying the galaxy. In addition, we already know Halo 6 will focus on Master Chief and his story, and not new playable characters and their stories like Agent Locke in Halo 5. Which assists in my theory as to why the Ark will be the focal point in Halo 6. It's such a great place for Master Chief's story. Despite how cool it would be for Chief, Arbiter, the Spirit of Fire, and all the other characters that we love in Halo to meet up for an epic climax, I fear that it would have the same problem as Halo 5. And that was, basically, it had way too much going on in an unorganized story. Halo 6's story focusing more on Chief implies there will be less locations since there will only be him that we're following. And the Ark has great variety for location, with snow, greenery, and deserts all in the same location of importance. So what do you guys think of the Flood returning in Halo 6 or the Gravemind, and what do you think of Awakening the Nightmare DLC, and would you like to see some similar faces in Halo 6? Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Be sure to like this video up if you ended up enjoying. Remember, 3,000 likes, let's see if we can do it. And if you didn't enjoy this video, let me know down in the comments below. I'm always open to change. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.